Pace its hope. I grabbed all those morning rundowns and pulled out the pieces that hit your economics, business and market beat. Here's the rewrite, warm, spoken, no jargon overload, just the story as it feels on the ground. Hey Priya, grab your coffee and settle in with me. Let's talk about what this week's cyber mess really means for balance sheets, stock prices, and the quiet ways businesses are bleeding money. First, look at F5. Those folks who make the big load balancers that sit in front of half the corporate internet just watched their stock drop about 10% after nation-state hackers walked out with customer data and even some unpublished source code. That's not a small slap. When trust evaporates, markets notice fast. Then there's the $85 million that vanished from Drift, that Solana-based exchange. It wasn't some flashy code break. It was a 6-month inside job social engineering play. Someone got close, used clever tricks with admin privileges and walked away with a fortune. One breach, one decentralized platform, and suddenly investors remember that human error still beats any fancy blockchain every single time. Rockstar Games is feeling the sting too. A third-party cloud provider got hit, and now 8 gigabytes of their analytics data, anti-cheat code, and support records are sitting on a public forum. The company says it's non-material, but when player data and internal files leak, you can bet legal bills, lost partnerships, and reputational drag will show up on the next quarterly call. Booking.com had to reset thousands of reservation pins after intruders slipped into their system and pulled names, emails, and travel details. No credit cards taken, they say, but the cleanup, the customer notifications, the extra fraud watch, they all cost real money. And in travel, trust is currency. Over in the gym world, Basic Fit, that big Dutch chain, lost personal information on roughly 1 million members. One breach, 1 million people wondering if their data is now for sale. The regulatory fines, the support calls, the churn that always follows these things, none of it is cheap. Then there's the software supply chain quietly eating into developer budgets everywhere. The Axios library, something tons of companies rely on without a second thought, got hijacked again, this time by North Korean actors. OpenAI had to revoke its own macOS app certificate because the bad code made it into their build pipeline. CPUID, the maker of popular hardware tools, saw its download pages swapped with malware for a few hours. Every time one of these trusted packages turns out to be poisoned, teams lose days auditing, patching, and explaining to their bosses why we thought it was safe. OpenAI itself is playing both sides of the market right now. They just launched a $100 a month pro plan to keep pace with rivals like Claude. At the same time, they're fighting fires in their own supply chain. It's a perfect picture of the AI gold rush. Enormous expectations, enormous valuations, and enormous new risks that investors are only starting to price in. Ransomware crews are still treating hospitals and factories like ATMs. One regional hospital network had to shut down emergency services for an entire day. That's not just heartbreaking, it's expensive. Lost revenue, overtime for recovery teams, skyrocketing insurance premiums. The numbers keep climbing because the criminals know the economics. Most victims will pay rather than watch their operations collapse. And the broader picture? Researchers looked at 216 million security findings and saw critical risks jump 4 times higher in AI-assisted code. Companies are shipping faster than ever, but they're also shipping bugs faster than ever. The cost of fixing things later is quietly becoming one of the biggest line items nobody wants to talk about on earnings calls. So here's the truth, sis, plain as the morning light. Every breach, every poison package, every leaked customer file is a tax on business. Sometimes it shows up as a 10% stock drop. Sometimes it's 85 million gone in one night.